Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, bringing you another game from the MSL Top 100. And this is number 54, 53, let me get this straight, 53. This should be a fun game, actually. I'm really looking forward to this. These guys are not, the biggest names in StarCraft history, but I'm actually still looking forward to this game a lot. We got Rage is the Protoss player on the right side of the map, the purple Protoss. My favorite color Protoss because I like the color purple. It's my favorite color, but it's also the alliteration of saying purple Protoss is very satisfying. Hopefully my microphone is not too bad about plosives, the sounds that you make when you do like a P sound. Hopefully it's not sounding too annoying there. I am hoping to invest in a new microphone before too long, by the way. And my mic's pretty good, but for some reason the quality's been just feeling like not quite up to snuff. So I feel like I need to get a new microphone that'll be a little bit higher quality and something with a plosive popper. I was trying to think of something that meant like to stop it, but start with a P to continue the alliteration, but nothing came to mind. Alliteration fail. Any case, so Rage versus, I don't remember if I mentioned this, versus Chojja. And Chojja, one of the stronger Zerg players at this point in time. This is being played in 2004, in July, I believe. And here we're seeing their side-by-side first-person views, which is pretty cool. In any case, yeah, so Chojja, I would feel like, is kind of the stronger player here. Rage was one of these players that never really had a ton of success. He got into the round of 8s. He got, that's basically usually about as far as he got. He may have gotten to the semifinals. I don't know. This is the round of 8. This is the second game of the round of 8, by the way. Not sure who's ahead in this series, but I don't know. Maybe he did get to the semifinals out of this matchup, but I know he didn't get. I checked his record, and he didn't have any gold, silvers, or bronzes. So, he never quite got to that stage, but this is a guy, Rage is a guy that you got to hand it to him, that he was still able to play at a high level, at the A- level, and not A- as far as the, BattleNet rank, but just A-, like, if you consider the top tier, he's like at the bottom of the top tier, right? He's able to get into the round of 8, but he never quite gets farther than that. But he was able to play at a high competitive level for so long. He started in 2000. He was playing in preliminaries in 2000, and he kept playing all the way through 2009. He got into, I don't know exactly what stage of the GOM Classic in 2009. And, he was good enough that he ended up playing for Air Force Ace, for example. So, which is the sort of team of... I really don't want to say washed up, but it was like players that were kind of retiring from esports, and going into the military, but then they wanted to still have some presence there. And Rage going in for a little bit of harassment with this Zealot. He's gonna get one drone kill, by the way. He does get a second drone kill. Not the best micro, actually, by Chojja. He should have been able to pull those drones away towards mineral patches, get the damaged drones away from that Zealot, and been able to save them. So he kind of loses 2 drones unnecessarily. He's got Zerglings out pretty quick, though, so he's going to be able to deal with that Zealot once it runs away. And so nice situation there. And we're seeing a Stargate coming up for Rage as well. There he is right now on your screen for a moment. And this is kind of interesting because this is kind of reminiscent of a Forge expand. It's kind of like, a game I casted the other day was similar, where it was like a Forge first build, but it was for +1 weapons, right? And I think, who was that? Is it Nalra or something like that? In any case, nice block on the ramp to make sure nothing can get into his base. But so that was kind of like shades of the Bisu build. And this is also kind of like shades of the Bisu build. Rushing to that, using some defensive measures to stop. And he's actually going to try and power through these Zealots. And he's going to do it. He has so many Zerglings that Rage is going to be forced to pull probes and fight to regain control of this ramp. One of the Zealots is going to die, and the reinforcement one is going to replace it. But in the meantime, these Zerglings are in the base, and he's going to be able to run amok inside the base. Actually, well, maybe not if he's going to fight the Zealots there instead of going after probes. Looks like he has killed a couple probes, and another one is going to go down. Nope, he just barely saves it. More Zerglings are dying. He needs to not be thinking about those Zealots, I don't think. I think he needs to be going after probes more than anything else, but he is just trying to take whatever he can, basically. But he is also scouting everything right now, so he's seeing exactly what's happening. Look at that probe running out to build a building, get sniped, and the Zerglings are doing a lot of harassment here. Now, in the background, though, we do have, you know, Chojja continuing his build as well. He's continuing to mine gas. He's putting in a Hydralista in order to deal with this Corsair that's out. That Corsair is also going to be really annoying. So as annoying as these Zerglings are being, the Corsair is going to be annoying as well. And a Dragoon pops out, and so that is really going to limit the ability of these Zerglings to do much more damage because, of course, they can run away from the Zealots, but they cannot really run away from the Dragoon, although they're doing a good job of trying, glitching that Dragoon out on the buildings by going down through in between them. He's actually just going to leave that Dragoon there for a moment as kind of like a mobile cannon. In any case, it looks like another Corsair out there. It might have been the same Corsair, actually, running off into the map to try and see what Chojja is doing. And Chojja is still on 2-base Hydra build right now. And is he thinking that maybe he's going to try and attack with an early attack with Hydralisk? We saw a lot of larvae there in Chojja's main. A couple, 2-3 larvae built up. Curious to see what he ends up doing. He's getting more probes, and the Zealots are just kind of not doing anything. This is 2004, ladies and gentlemen. This would be considered probably a little bit of a mistake or a micro or misplay for 2010 players. But, you know, in 2004, the level of multitasking and micro had not quite been pushed as high as we've come to expect it over the years. So, you know, I don't want to fault either of these players too much for the things that I've been calling, you know, micro errors. And somehow there's still Zerglings alive. That Dragoon has been slacking off in its job because the Dragoons are still alive. Although that said, there is still a Corsair alive as well, despite the fact that he's had Hydra's dead for a million years. So, and he's still killing probes with those Zerglings, still keeping them alive, running around. I don't think they're even speed upgraded. They're just running around. They're just so good at running the right routes that it looks like he might get one more. No, doesn't even get that last probe. So he finally loses all those Zerglings. But those Zerglings, I mean, I thought it might have been a mistake to try and break that ramp before because he lost so many Zerglings for free against the first Zealots. But he ended up doing so much work with those 10 Zerglings that got into his base. They were alive for a long time, scouting everything, and also just doing a ton of harassment, distracting, and killing probes too. But now the Zealots are out, and looks like they have the speed upgrade actually, and so they're going to be able to chase those Hydras back. He needs to regroup his Hydras to make sure that they can fight as a cohesive unit, because that Zealot group is really, really scary. He needs actually more Hydras to deal with this, even especially if he gets a surround on some of the Hydras. He does get a partial surround on the edge of the line of Hydras, but more are coming in from the back as well. Nice micro by Chojja, falling back small groups of the Hydras so that some can fire while the others are retreating and getting extra damage onto those Zealots by kiting in small groups. Very, very nicely done. And he is going to push back that Zealot attack. And now Rage might be in some trouble here. He's going to be forced back into his base, and he never got an expansion up. So now Chojja is actually coming across the map with these Hydras. He's got an Overlord within range. Where's that Corsair? The Corsair might have died. I'm not sure. He's actually just rallying Hydras across the map. The Templar Archives has just been completed, but it might be too late because even if he makes DTs right now, the Overlord is in a nice spot to defend, and he doesn't have the anti-air. He doesn't have multiple, multiple Dragoons or Corsairs to actually knock that Overlord away. So this is a little bit of a dance back and forth. He doesn't really want to commit too much to running up that ramp and possibly getting surrounded by Zealots. We might get a nice little push, and then he wouldn't be able to fall back down the ramp. But now he's decided to actually move up there, going after the cannon on the high ground. The Zealots have pushed in, but he's going to have to fire from the low ground, and that's what the disadvantage. That's why he was a little bit reluctant to send his forces up there, because this interim period, while he doesn't have all of his forces up the ramp, is a dangerous spot because, he's got, by firing up from the low ground, he's not able to do full damage against those Zealots, and a High Templar is out. He didn't go for the Dark Templar. He went straight for the High Templar, this Templar Archives has been up for a while, so I think he might have Storm nearly researched. Of course, the High Templar do pop out with not quite enough energy for a Storm, so he's going to have to wait about 15-20 seconds before he has enough for a Storm. But in the time I've been talking, that has been reduced to about 10 seconds. So very soon he's going to have one Psy Storm available. He might have missed the window of opportunity, but we'll see if he can get in here. There's only going to be one Storm available. If he lands a nice juicy Storm, he will be able to deter this. If his Storm whiffs, then it will be the end of Rage. Here we go. We're seeing him go in. Is the Psy Storm available? Is he going to cast it? He's waiting for the right moment. He's waiting for the perfect moment. He actually might be waiting for the energy. Oh, beautiful Slice Storm lands on all of the Hydralisks. Absolutely destroys, absolutely slaughters the Hydralisks. And oh no, Chojja just was not paying attention to those Hydras for the one crucial moment that he needed to fall back out of that storm. It was one Psy Storm. He was depending on that one Psy Storm to win him this game, and it landed exactly where he needed it to be. The fadeaway jump shot, three-pointer right through the net, and now the counterattack is going to be probably deadly. I think this is the lethal counter right now. The Zealots are going in. They do have, actually, maybe they don't have upgrades. It was hard to see, but he's going in with a lot of Zealots. There's a couple sunks there. Only one sunk call, actually. He's actually fighting with drones. That Templar might be what he needs. If he can storm the defensive units, the Zealots will be able to absolutely kill the sunken colonies. We'll see. Is he going to go in, though? Does he have enough forces here to actually dive in on that? There's only one sunken and a handful of Zerglings. He still has he doesn't have +1 weapons. We saw the Forge spinning earlier. Did he cancel it, or did something happen? Or is it just that I saw it spinning and it was just at that moment? Oh no, he's gonna lose the Templar! He does lose the Templar! Chojja's fighting back into this game. He's not willing to give up without a good fight. There's still one Templar left though. Again, I think it's been delayed long enough that Chojja's been able to get another set of forces up. Is he going to be able to land a nice storm here in order to do the damage necessary? The Zealots don't even care if they said, we don't need a storm. We're just going to do the damage ourselves. He kills off all of Zerglings. He's going to be able to kill off the Sunken. Here comes the Zerglings from the back. If he storms them, he will be able to secure the victory for these Zealots, but he just is not casting that storm. There it goes. It's a little bit of a whiff. Only kills a couple Zerglings, and in fact, that might be what he needed. That might be what Chojja needed, is that whiff of a Psy Storm, because now the Zerglings reinforcements are going to be able to kill off all of the Zealots, except the few that retreat barely with their tails between their legs. Except Zealots don't have tails, but whatever they would have, you know, they probably have some sort of piece of armor, like tailbone armor, something like that. Whatever that is, it's between their legs. And he's going to have to fall back with that situation. And the Lurkers especially finally coming in, and now +1 is finished. I don't know if it was finished during that attack or not. We didn't get a good view, but +1 weapons is now finished, but he needed it done a while ago to really have that push be as strong as possible for that counterattack. And so I thought that was going to be the deadly counter push that that Rage was going to be able to win the game off of, because if he got through those defenses, then he slaughters the natural. There's no third base. There's no third base for Chojja. It is 1 base versus 2. This is 2004, low base count versus low base count. And this Lurker, this one Lurker, is slowly moving in, little by little, burrowing, forcing the Zealots back, unburrowing, burrowing, forcing the Zealots back, little by little. And it's taken a little bit of damage here and there as it's gone. And it's now down to very low hit points. But it's managed to get all the way up into the natural, and just right below that ramp. But there is a cannon up above that ramp. And the Observer is going to be out in a moment as well. We saw the observatory moments ago. And what is this? He's got a shuttle out? Is he going to drop? I'm not sure what he's going to drop, actually. Okay, there's the Observer in play. He's going to send Zealots down to try and deal with that. There's actually a Dark Templar there as well, but there's an Overlord overhead, and he actually doesn't have anything to stop that Overlord, but he's actually just going to... Oh, he actually could have walked away with that Dark Templar. Instead, he loses it to get one more Zergling kill, but... Oh, this could be a problem. If he loses these Lurkers, that could be a very big deal. But at the same time, though, these Lurkers are exactly what he needs to kill these Zealots. He's killed off a couple of them. The Zealots are targeting the Zerglings, and it's just not going to be enough because the Archon walks down the ramp and joins the fray. And now, here we go. This is what that shuttle was for. He's dropping Zealots into the main base of Chojja, but there's already forces there to deal with it. And that one Archon is all that's left. He's just kind of running back to a choke point there. And Chojja just, Rage is just not able to secure his natural. He's trying to push forward with cannons, but he's just not able to secure that spot at the top of his ramp and in order to push down. I thought he was building a cannon on the high ground above that as well in his main, but maybe he canceled that or something like that, but because I don't see it. But again, we're still on 1 base versus 2 right now. He is going to build a Nexus, though. Finally going to get that second base down. Now, can he defend it is the question. If he does not defend it, then it is possible for... Look at that. Did we just see that? Chojja has like almost no drones in his main. He's actually he's on like 1.5 bases actually, so it's actually not as dire as 2 bases versus 1. It's actually 1.5 versus 1. Is he gonna be able to cancel this Nexus? Is he gonna be able to kill the Nexus? I think he killed the Nexus. It's hard to say if he counts it or not. I didn't actually, you know, it's hard to see if that got down to 0 hit points, but that is huge. I think he canceled it. The fact that he's able to remake it immediately means I think he did have the money from it, so I think he just canceled it. But that was really close. It was down in the red. It was down to like double-digit hit points there from those Zerglings attacking down. And he's continuing to make units, though, instead of drones, instead of bases. This is really, really low econ game here for Chojja. Look at that. He's got 5 drones mining minerals in his main right now, and of course the gas drones as well. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at 8 drones mining minerals in his natural. So 13 total drones. Plus 6. We've got less than 20 drones on the map right now, so that is not a very good situation economically to be in. Here comes another shuttle. Looks like it might have gotten spotted. There is a nice sunken there, but if this is a Templar drop, it might not matter. And he's going to skip it. Oh, there he is. He waited for the end and to drop the High Templar out to get that storm. Only gets a few drones, though. And now this shuttle is actually going to go down to a couple Scourge pretty quickly. Is he going to be able to drop anything out? He drops an Archon out before it dies, at least. And a Dark Templar, actually. So they're actually going to be able to do decent damage. And actually, it's kind of unfortunate that the Dark Templar took some damage from the splash of the Lurkers, even though he couldn't be seen. And maybe he might not even know that Dark Templar is there, actually. He might not be aware of its existence, and that is why this base was so crucial to Rage. Look at that. He's mined out his main. If he did not get that second base established, then he was definitely starved out to death. And now this Dark Templar is going in here, saying, can I do any damage? He actually is going to get a drone kill on the gas mine there, and just go ahead and run away. 3 kills under his belt there. A couple of them were Zerglings earlier in that earlier battle. Now he's going down to the natural to see if he can get any free kills down here. There is, again, a Sunken and an Overlord, though, and doesn't even get one swing left, swing off before dying there. But that Dark Templar did a significant amount there. A couple drones, a couple lings. It'll definitely get a medal back home. But in any case, yeah, Chojja is still just powering off. It looks like he's gotten a few more drones to replace the ones that he lost to the Templar drop, and a couple extras as well. So he's trying to get a little bit of an econ going. And he really does need a little bit of he needed a little bit more econ. Rage has a nice fresh new base. It is only 1 base mining, but he's got a nice fresh base mining. If Chojja was mining less drones at 2 bases than there were probes at 1 base, that could be a problem, even if the 2 bases is a little bit more efficient. In any case, curious to see what Chojja's going to do next. We saw the Spire complete just recently. Is he making mutas? Yes, it looks like he is doing a muta switch here, actually. This is pretty cool. He's got the Lurkers at his natural, so he actually isn't really penetrable at the natural right now. But here's the thing. We might see, this is classic 2020 ZVP to get those Mutalisks and go after the High Templar. If he can do that and kill off those High Templar, then the several Lurkers that he has will basically be untouchable by this army. Archons are pretty decent, actually, so maybe not untouchable, but it'll be difficult for them to touch those Lurkers, especially if he has Lings on top of them, if he can take out those High Templar with the mutas. If not, if he runs in and gets those mutas stormed and they get slaughtered, then it could be the end. Here he comes in. He's going to get one. Oh, he does get a storm off. Ooh, significant damage done to those Mutalisks, but they do escape whole. Damaged but whole, and are able to get out of there. But he almost killed that Templar off before Rage was able to react and set off that Psystorm, but not quite. And now he's going to try and engage with these Zealots in the middle, and this is beautiful. He's going to get some free damage down. Oh, he's going to kill off the Observer as well. One of them, not the other one. It looks like the other one is able to survive. And I think I just heard my roommates get home, so I'm going to try to be a little bit quieter again, just like I was in the last one. I try to squeeze games in because I don't want to be, yelling at my computer when my roommates are home. It's just kind of rude. It is kind of late at night as well, so late in the evening, I should say. So hopefully you guys can still hear me fine. I'm going to lower my voice a little bit, though, for the remainder of this game to try and make sure I'm not being too much of an a-hole. Even though I'm leaving this apartment pretty soon, and they're not going to be my roommates for too much longer, but I still don't want to be rude to them. And are we seeing +2? No, it's +1 weapons, by the way. +1 weapons and +1 armor for the Protoss units right now. And we'll have to see if we can get a read on the upgrades, but right now the upgrades aren't super huge deal. When you have lurkers doing splash damage, when you have Mutalisk doing glaive damage, it's not, the upgrades are not as crucial of a thing. So, oh, there's a beautiful Psystorm on top of the Mutalisk. He's going to pick off the High Templar, but not before the damage has been done. And those Mutalisks are now badly damaged. Here comes the attack. Does he have enough storms? It looks like he does have enough storms. Those Mutalisks need to retreat immediately and deal with those High Templar before he storms the crap out of the lurkers. He's got lurkers and sunkens. It's a beautiful defensive line, but the storms just blanket the entire defensive line, killing all of the lurkers, and the zealots clean up as well. Doesn't have enough left of the ground force, though. The lurkers did do significant damage to the zealots before they were able to get in there, but it looks like he still has at least half a dozen left, plus the Archons as well. The Archons a beautiful counter to the Mutalisk. Can he do it? He's spreading out the Mutalisk to avoid the Archon fire, but there's 3 Archons and a 4th morphing. It's just so much damage being put out there, and look at the, oh, Chojja's face telling us that he does not feel he's going to survive this. A look of chagrin, and the 4th Archon and the 5th Archon pop out, and the mutas are all dead, and there's the GG coming from Chojja. So Rage actually takes the game. He's going to go ahead and go over and bow, and it looks like maybe that was the final game of this series. I'm actually not sure what the series matchup was. I'm going to go back to the beginning for a second, see if they showed what the score was, because this was the round of 8. Second game of the round of 8, and so if Rage was up 1 game, then that means he would have just taken this series. But yeah, I don't see if they showed it at any point. So, but the fact that at the end here that he goes over and bows, respectfully, and then seems to be leaving, that to me indicates that he just lost the series and he's scramdoodling. So. Yeah, he's going to go pack up his stuff, it looks like. I don't think he's getting ready for another game. Yeah, there we go. Win. So, anyway, that was a pretty cool match. It's always just, it's been really interesting to see these old games, these 2004 games, to see, what players did, this long ago, and see, like, the different shades of, like, what elements of these builds ended up working their way into further builds later on. Okay, JK, so this was a sort of round robin stage of the. I just looked up on the side the games, and it was a round robin. So this was an elimination match. It was just, I think it was some sort of group stage going on with the round of 8. Some of these older ones had different formats, I think, so it's hard for me to keep straight exactly what happened. But I looked up the games, and this was just a one-off game, although they actually had played before in previous MSLs, and Chojja actually won those, so it's kind of cool that Rage was able to get a little bit of get back and win this game. So anyway, yeah, so pretty cool PvZ, and, shades of modern PvZ, already kind of a little bit evident in the old school style of play, but, you would almost never in 2020 see a 1-base Protoss versus a 2-base Zerg at the 20-minute mark. That is just absolutely unheard of these days, so it's kind of fun to see that kind of style going on back in the old days. So anyway, that's going to do it. Thanks very much for watching. GG, and I'll be back probably before too long. Again, I'm still traveling right now, I think, but I'm traveling right now, but I'm going to be, I think, back pretty soon. Or not back, because I'm not going to the same place, going forward to another place. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and leave it there. Thanks for watching. GG. Hope you're all doing well.